Alright guys, so you remember I painted, this is Daryl's core support. I painted this all gloss black, PPG, clear coat, and I painted a bunch of other stuff with it, and for whatever reason, well I say whatever reason, there's a dry spot on the floor. When I sprayed down on it, it kicked dirt back up into the clear coat, so I'm going to have to denib the clear coat and re-clear coat it. That's what I'm going to do to that one. That's a free deal. I did that. That was my bad. And so I'm going to take care of that. This one, however, this is for that Chevelle that's on his channel, the orange Chevelle. So we're going to take care of this. It needs these holes drilled in it, and I'm not sure what those are for, what they had those for, and I don't really care. But so I'm going to drill those holes in it, and then we're going to. I've already cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol to get any fingerprints off of it, straight off the bat. Then I'm going to red Scotch-Brite the whole thing, every nook and cranny, and then we're going to seal it with SPI epoxy, and then from there we'll go ahead and spray our black, PPG black, and the PPG Concept 2021 clear over this whole thing, so it'll be a gloss black, just like that one. So we're going to do this. This is for the 69 Chevelle, I believe, maybe 68, but I think it's 69. Anyway, this was the one that Daryl was showing you guys that I guess they had some cold air induction system, and they just looks like they stuck their mouth on it and chewed the holes out of it. I've never. I mean, I guess you do what you got to do if you don't have the right tools, but that's just pretty unbelievable. So they decided to go ahead and replace the whole thing. Well, I'm sure he doesn't want that Chevelle sitting in his garage for the next 10 years, so I opted, since I got my little girl today and she's watching cartoons, instead of me grinding and drilling and doing all the stuff on that while she's in here, I'll just go ahead and clean this up, prep it. I'll get that cleaned up and re-prep for to spray. So I'll spray both of these together. I'll hang them and spray them. But yeah, I'm going to have to clean the shop, otherwise I'm going to have the same thing that happened to that. So kind of a stop in the middle of what I'm doing here and see if I can't take care of this, hopefully somewhat quickly. But you know, it is what it is. It takes time. You got to clean it, you got to prep it, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get on this. See you. All right, just for reference, just so you know, that's 56 minutes. Anything that's black and shiny, paint won't stick to it. You have to get into every crevice. So I can already see some areas that I'm going to have to go over again. I wore out 3 complete pieces of Scotch-Brite. I'm just doing this because I want you guys to understand, if you're doing any kind of restoration, this is not easy work. It's tedious. It takes a lot of time. You wear your fingertips out trying to get down in all these little spots. Now, I haven't cleaned this yet. I'm going to clean this with isopropyl alcohol. That'll really reveal the shiny spots. I'll bring you back and we'll see how much I missed. And I spent literally 56 minutes on this so far. That's not even the other side. That's just this side, just so you know. All right, here's what we got. You can see down in here, it's really hard to get down in those areas. So when you come back to clean that, after you've done all this, you're going to see the shiny stuff. That you cannot have that, or the paint will not stick to it. Period. Anything I've missed in here, getting down in these little spot welds, that's a bitch. It's hard to get something down inside there. You take a little bit of sandpaper, try to get down in there, whatever, but these Scotch-Brites usually work the best. But yeah, anywhere that it's shiny, and there's not a whole lot. I did a fairly good job. I still need to get in here and hit all that. But yeah, I still got another probably 15 minutes of re-rubbing this thing, and that's just this one side. So if any of you are ignorant about what it takes to get something like this done, when you drop off a core support or something, and you say, hey, to the body shop guys, say, hey, how much is it going to cost to paint this? And they go, I don't know, $500, and you shit your pants. Well, this is why. Because it's not as easy as you think. This isn't that big of a part, but just so you know, there's nooks and crannies. It takes a lot of time to get in these areas to do it properly. Now, if you want them just to scuff it up real quick, blow some shit on it, and it's going to come off in a year, then yeah, it probably wouldn't take that long. Another thing that you might consider is the fact that most paint and body places have their own paint banks, and so they can mix up a little bit of paint and a little bit of clear, and it doesn't cost them that much. Now, they're going to charge you, but it doesn't cost them that much. When you come to somebody like me, or when you have your neighbor do it or whatever, you usually, not in this case because I'm using Daryl's paint, but in most cases, you're going to have to go up to Sherwin-Williams or PPG or wherever you get your paint, and the minimum they're going to sell you is probably a pint, maybe a quart. So you got to have that. You got to have activator. You got to have your clear coat and the activator for that. Any kind of reducers you're going to need. So you're going to flop out several $100s in just to paint something like this. That's not including labor and time to do all this. Just get this understanding. If you don't understand, if you're that guy that's like, hey, I got a car, I want somebody to restore it for me, and I've got $10,000 and that should cover it, you're way wrong. Way wrong. Just so you know. So don't go ignorant to the body shop thinking you're going to get something done for that. They're going to look at you and laugh. So there you go. All right, 2 hours and 18 minutes. That's start to finish. I stopped the camera if I had to do anything, or stop the camera. I stopped the timer if I had to feed her or do anything else. So that's literally busting ass on this all the way through. This many sheets of that, and drilling your holes. I've got 4 holes here, 2 holes here, or 4 holes, 2 holes here, 2 holes here equals 4 holes. You can see, and I measured this out with calipers and tape here, so you can see here these are perfectly aligned. Same with this one here, this one here, this one here. So I'm sorry I couldn't make these holes here as nice and jaggedy as those. It's one of those deals, you got to be really freaking talented to do some shit like that, and I'm just not that talented. So I just make them round. So sorry if that's a problem. What else? So yeah, this is done. I've got 2 hours in this. It's ready to be epoxy primered. Okay, you might go, whoa, it's not ready to be painted. No, you don't want to paint just over top of EDP. You want to seal it first, which sealing is basically reduced epoxy primer. So hit it with your epoxy, and then you top coat it with black, and then your clear coat. So yes, because the paint wants to stick to the epoxy, it doesn't want to stick to bare metal, and it doesn't want to stick to the. I say that probably didn't want to stick as well as it will epoxy. So you got to seal it. We've always sealed them. So yeah, I'll shoot sealer on that, and it'll have to sit for 24 hours before I can top coat it. But I still have to do basically take all the nibs off this one. So that one will take however long to do that. But I can go ahead and hook this one up, get it primed and ready, and then of course when I'm ready to paint them, I'll paint both of them together, or paint that one and clear it, and then just clear this one. So that's the plan anyway. So yeah, I still got a little bit of setup time, gun time, that type of deal for this one. So by the time I'm done, I'll probably have another 2 hours, I'm guessing, in this, because I got to clean it again, I've got to hang it, and the whole thing. Of course, my shop is a mess. I've got to clean all this up, and it's one of those deals. Do I charge you an hourly rate for me having to clean my shop up in the middle of building my car, or do I just say, well, that's part of it? You know what I mean? So what would a regular body shop do? What would they say, hey, we got to stop everything? Well, a regular body shop probably has a paint booth. So again, quicker deal. They just take it in after they're done doing this. They clean it up real good, and they shoot it, and they're done. That's not the case for me. I have to spend God knows how long cleaning all this crap up so that I don't end up having that. What happened to your core support happened to this one. All right, we've been working on this for well over an hour. You still see some of the nibs that need to be taken out. I've got here is this is my little nib block made by Kovacs. What it is it's a Tully cut, and it comes with sheets or whatever. It's made by Eagle, looks like, but you can get these on eBay, I believe. And oh shoot, I forgot the guy that told me. Man, what is his name? Well, there's a guy, and I'll try to put it in here on the video when I upload this, who he is, and check his channel out because he does amazing work. He does a lot of collision work, and he does really great work. Anyway, so he turned me on to this. Of course, these are the Mud something plexiglass. Of course, you can get big flat spaces with them. Now, let me tell you this. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to try to color sand, because every one of these little dimples, perfect example, when they pinch weld those together, and if that'll focus in on that, I don't know if it's going to or not. But anyway, you can see there's a freaking super sharp little tip coming up right there, and those are on a lot of these, just where it probably melted through. And so when you're running across that, you're going to hit it and knock the paint off. So you got to be stupid careful, basically. And so yeah, you can see still got a bunch of stuff in here. Focus to get. But yeah, I'm using this little tiny block to come in here and get in. And thing is, these are raised. All of these are raised. So as soon as you go over those, guess what happens? It knocks the paint off. So I'll probably end up having to repaint this because I do have a couple of burn throughs, and one of them is right here. And it's just where it transitioned up just a little bit. There's a hump right there. Well, it was a little thinner right there, and sure as shit when I went over it, it burned right through it. So yeah, I'll end up having to shoot some more paint on this and then re-clear it. So yeah, just for your information, I think I don't know. I don't even know what to say about something like this, a core support. You'll see the top, but pretty much the rest of it will be covered with a radiator and the whole thing, so you're not going to see a whole lot. But it looked like I had threw sand at it, so I said I would fix it, and that's where I'm at. And so, yeah, you live and learn, right? So, all right, well, that's probably going to be it for tonight. Yeah, right through there you can even see just kind of nasty looking. Just didn't come out smooth, which, man, I don't know if these things, normally they're satin black and no one gives two shits, but I mean, if you're going to show your car, you want at least this top edge to look really nice, because that's what people are going to see. But yeah, anyway, I said I'd redo it, so that's what I'm doing. And so yeah. All right, well, that's going to be it for tonight. Little girl's still out here watching freaking Georgia the Jungle. And I think I've had enough fun today. And I will tell you that it's not fun when you're redoing something that you've already done. When I'm working on my own stuff, I'm good with that. But having to fix something for free that I screwed up is not a good deal. And we kind of talked about this for the guys who do this for a living. I watched a video, Metal Shaper guy, and he had basically a rant video, and man, it hit home because he was like, he has had customers that screwed him over. He hadn't been able to finish projects because they ran out of money. You know, when you have redos because you did something wrong, you eat it, you don't make any money off of it. And I'm like, man, I don't see how people stay in business doing this kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I'm at. I want to do my own stuff. I don't want to do other people's shit, because there's no guarantees in this. You know, I mean, you use a product and that product fails. Whose fault is it? Oh, it's my fault. Well, okay. And they say, well, you're supposed to use the same product all the way through. Man, I know how people work. I know how these big companies work. They're going to tell you to go stick it in your ass is what they're going to tell you. Oh, you screwed up somewhere. You did something wrong. You didn't scuff it good enough, or you didn't do this good enough, or something happened. They're not going to freaking reimburse you for all your time and your products and all that. At the very minimum, they might give you another, gallon of paint. I doubt it. Or a quart of paint, or whatever they're going to do. But I really doubt that. That doesn't make up for all your time, and you're having to sand all that shit down, repaint it, the whole thing. It's like, man, I'm out. I see why people do collision. Wham bam, it's down the road. People don't keep their cars for more than a couple years, 3-4 years, and they're gone. So after that, it's not their problem. They'll warranty it for life, for the life of the person who has the car. And you come back to the next person that buys it, they're shit out of luck. Paint just falls off on the ground. It's not my problem now. It was warranted for the first owner, not you. So, and like I said, most people don't keep their cars for a long time. So, and I highly doubt that if you had it for, I don't even know where the warranty stops with that. I mean, when you warranty something for life, so say you get this badass paint job and you keep the car for 20 years and then the paint starts coming off. Do you get a free paint job after 20 years? I freaking doubt it. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there a little bit. This video will probably be pretty long because I've just talked a lot. But yeah, that's coming along pretty good. I'm getting the firewall lined up with the floor pan, and that's been a little more tricky than I had originally thought it would be, but we got a plan, we got it figured out, and it's coming together. That'll be another video for another day, but I may take these over to a buddy of mine that has a paint room. He doesn't have a paint booth, but he's got a paint room, and he actually does paint cars. And I may see if I can if he'll let me borrow his booth for a couple hours to paint these, because this is just going to be a nightmare to try to clean all this shit up. And if anything blows up off the ground, it's going to look the same, and I'm going to have wasted hours and hours of work. So I'm out on that. So thinking about giving my buddy a call and saying, hey, let me drop by if you don't mind and use your little booth there. And I think I've done enough stuff for him. I think he should say, yeah, no problem, I'm not using it or whatever. So that may be what I do. But yeah, that's it. All right, guys, have a good one.